All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about a theory that, honestly, might just change the way you look at, well, everything. Your movies, your music, even how you scroll through your phone.
I mean, you know that feeling, right? You're watching the big new blockbuster, and you can basically call out every single plot twist before it happens. Or, a new pop song comes on, and you swear you've heard that exact chorus 1,000 times before. It's like everything's just a copy of a copy.
So, what if I told you that this feeling isn't new at all? In fact, what if the answer comes from a theory cooked up way back in 1947? Yeah, two thinkers saw this coming over 75 years ago, and they had a pretty powerful explanation for it.
So let's get into it. To really get what's happening with our culture right now, we've got to travel back in time, all the way back to the 1940s. Okay, so our main characters here are Theodor Adorno and Max Horkheimer. Now, you have to understand where they were coming from, because it's everything. They were brilliant Jewish-German thinkers, and they were writing this during World War II. Think about that. They saw with their own eyes how the best ideas of humanity, reason, logic, progress, could be hijacked and turned into these horrifyingly efficient tools for oppression. That experience, it's baked into every single page of their massive work, Dialectic of Enlightenment. And this gets to the absolute core of their idea, this giant contradiction. You see, the Enlightenment, a couple of centuries earlier, had this amazing promise, right? We're going to use reason to set everyone free. But what Adorno and Horkheimer, let's just call them A&H, what they saw was the complete opposite. They saw reason being used to build these incredibly efficient systems of control. Instead of free people, they saw, cogs in a giant standardized machine.
And that's the perfect lead-in to the absolute heart of their argument, a concept they called the culture industry. So for A&H, all that stuff we consume, movies, music, radio shows, it wasn't just harmless fun, not at all. They saw it as a literal factory, a culture industry that was just churning out these standardized products one after another. And all these products, whether it's a film or a pop song, had one single hidden goal: to keep us all in line and make sure the system keeps ticking along just the way it is. And here's the wild part. The industry isn't even trying to hide it. A&H pointed out that these guys are actually proud to call themselves industries. They look at their huge profits and don't think, oh, we've sold out our art. No way. They think, see, we're giving the people what they want. We're practically a public service.
This is where A&H draw a really sharp line in the sand. On one side, you've got real art, the stuff that's supposed to shake you up, make you question things. It's free, it's unpredictable. But then, on the other side, you have the products from the culture industry. And these things are the total opposite. They're standardized, they're predictable, and their only job is to let you escape for a little while, to distract you, not challenge you. And they had this brilliant way of explaining it. Just think about the difference between a telephone and a radio back then. With a telephone, you get to be a part of the conversation. You speak, you respond, you're an active subject. But the radio just turns you into a passive listener. An object, really. You just sit back and get fed the exact same prepackaged show as millions of other people. Okay, and this is where a theory from the 1940s suddenly gets super, super relevant. I mean, if they thought the radio made people passive, what on earth would they think about our smartphones? Just picture it, that endless, algorithm-fueled scroll on TikTok or Instagram. Are we really participating, or are we just the modern version of the passive radio listener, getting fed an endless stream of bite-sized, standardized stuff?
Okay, so we're passive, but how does that turn into social control? Well, that's the final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle. This is probably A&H's biggest and most controversial claim. They argued that the whole point of the culture industry is to invade and take over our leisure time. Yeah, that time when you think you're off the clock and free, that's actually when the system is working on you the hardest. It's filling your brain with easy, simple distractions, so you never get a quiet moment to, actually think critically about your life or the world. And they basically laid out the playbook for how it works. Step 1, occupy all your free time. Step 2, fill it with super predictable entertainment. The movie where the hero definitely wins, the song with the super catchy, simple chorus. This stuff satisfies our most basic expectations, which feels good. But over time, and this is the key, this constant diet of simple stuff actually trains us to prefer simple things. We start to shy away from anything complex, especially complex thoughts. And all of this leads to their knockout punch of a conclusion. The culture industry isn't really making standardized products. It's making standardized people. People who are easy to predict, who are passive, and who are ultimately very easy to control. So where does that leave us? After digging into all this, it really boils down to one big question we have to ask ourselves. When you look at the shows you binge watch, the music you have on repeat, the feeds you scroll through, you kind of have to wonder, is it really all just harmless fun? Or is there something bigger at play? A system that's still working on us, even when we think we're just relaxing? It's definitely something to think about next time you hit that play button.